Welcome to Thrifty Garage. One of my favorite YouTubers is Wrangler Star. To be honest, he's one of the reasons that I started my own channel, and recently was watching his video on 50 tools you need to survive life, and that inspired me to do my own version of that. Now, I'm not going to do exactly 50 tools because some of these tools can be bought in sets. An individual tool might cost only a couple dollars, whereas a set might cost 10 or 20, and the set will be more beneficial than just the single tool. So I'm just going to kind of go over the main tools that I've used, and I'm going to go through all 50 or approximately 50 of the main tools that I would need to survive life. I'm going to start off with the saws. One tool I think is a great beginner's tool is a hacksaw. You can get this style or even the smaller ones. Great for little finite work. Also a great beginner tool is a hand miter saw, and then also a sort of a saw that will be capable of cutting larger wood. Like this will cut down tree branches. That's a great beginner tool set to get started. This is also a saw that's designed to cut PVCs. So lots of different options. To be honest, I've never really had a good selection of hand saws. I've always kind of made do with what I had, and even to be honest, my Leatherman Wave, I've used this hand saw to do quite a bit of work. Okay, next up I've got my measurement tools. Obviously a good tape measure is necessary. Chalk line is a great tool for running long straight lines. Another great tool I found for doing straight lines is using a square like this in combination with a tape measure. I'll use a tape measure on large plywood sheets to measure different sections, and then I'll use this as a straight edge to connect between the dots. I can also use my level to connect between the dots, as well as obviously level. This has been a good level for me. It's a good size, beginner size. And then this square as well has been very beneficial, especially with my circular saw and making straight cuts without having a chop saw or miter saw. Okay, next up, let's do the power tools. And these are tools that have really helped me get by without any additional tools. For example, the drill. I've had a quarter drill for a very long time. Recently, within the past year or two, I've upgraded to an impact driver and a cordless drill. But for a long time, this really got me by and did a lot for me. With the drill, you obviously want drill bits. Again, these are, if you individually want to count these, this is a lot. But if you want to count this as a set, 20 bucks can go a long ways. Hand sander is a great way. Sanding physically by hand or manually is very labor intensive, so this is an inexpensive option to go to the next step. This angle grinder has done a ton for me. Lots of different attachments that can go with that. This angle grinder has been a very beneficial part of my tool inventory. And then the skill saw has really been beneficial as well. I've never owned a table saw, never owned a chop saw. This circular saw, skill saw has really done a lot for me. Quick short story about this is I inherited this. It was free. The cord was bad on it, was arcing internally, and I replaced the cord for 5 or 10 bucks, and it's worked great for me ever since. One of those good old power tools that just need a little bit of work. And then this, just wanted to show you real quick, this square. I usually just use that on a board, and then I can run this edge against that, and that keeps it nice and square, 90-degree angle as I make any cuts. So great inexpensive ways to make good cuts. Here's a look at a lot of your basic automotive tools. Obviously we've got a floor jack. This is probably a little overkill for what the beginner or basic homeowner needs. A good set of jack stands with that. And this is where really getting a set really becomes beneficial. A screwdriver set is going to be a lot more beneficial than a single screwdriver. Same with a plier set. Some dikes, needle nose pliers, and regular pliers are very beneficial. A good set of pry bars. A tip here is don't go to Harbor Freight for these pry bars. These are snap-on, which are definitely going to be overkill, but Harbor Freight ones I've used before, they just snap on you. And then these jack stands are from Harbor Freight. They've done great for me. I totally recommend those. As well as a good set of wrenches, standard and metric. I'm a metric guy. Most of my stuff's metric. And I would shoot for a set that goes from 8mm up to 21. You can get away with like 10mm up to like 18, maybe 19, but really 8 to 21 is better. Same with your sockets. If you can only go with one set of sockets, I'd go with a medium depth socket. I wouldn't go super short or super long, just so you have a little more flexibility there. You can always use extensions to get it longer, but if you've got a nut on a long bolt, you need a deep well or semi-deep socket. A good ratchet, and with the sockets and ratchet, I would go 3/8 for the kind of your beginner starting level. A good flashlight, and then also a funnel. Next, we'll get into the specialty tools. We'll start with the hammer. We've got a hammer and a pry bar. An alternative to this pry bar is a cat's paw, but I feel like this is a better suited tool. We've also got some channel locks, vise grips, crescent wrench, and a razor blade knife of some sort. Allen key, putty knife. For electrical, you've got a multimeter and a nice set of wire cutters. A Caulk gun will help you do a lot of different projects. Also some safety gear that you should keep in mind for a lot of these type of home projects. It's more of an expendable item, something that kind of gets used and thrown away and replaced. As far as plumbing is concerned, for like sprinkler work, you've got pipe cutters, as well as this style pipe cutter for interior plumbing and copper pipes. Woodworking, you've got a set of chisels. If you had to pick just one, I'd do the 3/4 inch, but obviously a 3-piece set is going to work better. A C-clamp. With that, a bench vise can be very beneficial as well. I've never mounted this on my bench. I need to get around to doing that, but even just not mounted, this has been a very beneficial tool. And lastly, this torch is very beneficial. It took me a long time of wanting one of these before I actually bought one, and once I did, I found so many uses for it. It's been awesome. As far as automotive is concerned, this is a great way to heat up bolts if it's stuck. That helps break them loose. It's great for when we go camping, start a campfire. There's just a lot of uses around the shop that this can be used for. Okay, lastly, I want to cover hand tools. Before I get into that, I also want to state that with the floor jack, if you want to check out that video separately, you can check that out, as well as my toolbox. If you want to look at any of my other tools, you can take a look at that and see what else I might have. A lot of these tools have gotten me by for a long time, and I really feel like that I've filled all of my needs, and now I've got a few wants, but I really have everything that I need to get any type of job done. So let's get into hand tools. We've got a pickaxe here. We've got a pair of loppers, a pair of hedge trimmers, and these are all hand tools which work great. As far as brooms, I'd recommend two different types. You've got this larger broom that'll cover larger areas, and then you've got a little smaller broom that'll cover smaller, more fine spaces. And then shovels, I would recommend two different types, just a round nose for digging holes, and then a flat nose for scraping up on hard surfaces, as well as a good rake. Additionally, beyond this rake, you might want to get a leaf rake, but I found, and this worked for me for many years, to use this as a leaf rake also. Takes a little bit longer, but for me it served the purpose and did the job that I needed it to. Well, I hope you enjoyed that video. I really wanted to make this quick and just run through everything as briefly as possible, so hopefully this video was kept pretty short. Again, I appreciate Wrangler Star and all he does, and really look up to him and what he provides our communities. Thanks for watching Thrifty Garage. Please like, subscribe, and comment.